The Crown.
Yeah. So we've been talking about The Crown quite a bit on the show. It's due back on Netflix next month, but already the producers have been received with a lot of criticism about them planning to air that infamous interview between Princess Diana and Martin Bashir. Obviously, over the past...
So that's going to be part of the plot?
Yeah, that's going to be in one of the first few episodes, actually, and a lot of critics have been slamming it because it's against Prince William's wishes for them to air that. He's been quite vocal, even to the BBC, about how much, you know, distress it caused, because obviously it's come out of the past few years the way Martin Bashir got that interview was quite dishonourable. And even though producers from Netflix have said, you know, we're planning to show how, you know, discreditable he was with that interview, you know, critics are saying this is still going to be received with dismay from Buckingham Palace.
It's interesting.
It'll be worth watching, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, it really
I know you love the drama, Anne.
But particularly if they go into the way Martin Bashir got her to do the interview, I think this is something we actually need to see.
Definitely, because I was just having a chat with one of the production staff. I feel like, you know, you hear about these things, but when you watch it, you really get an insight to it. But I know Stephen would say there's always that fine line between, you know, thinking everything you're watching is true and realising bits of it have been dramatized.
Well, you see, Hugo Vickers, who's a very well-known royal biographer, has said the Crown has been consistently dishonest from day one. They pervert the facts, they clash incidents together which did more or less happen to create something which most certainly did not.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, I'm sure people who were, you know, much older around that time, they would be able to put two and two together. But if you're from a younger generation and you're watching it, you're going to think this is facts.
And we're now much older. Thank you very much.
People like Hugo Vickers and other royal historians and biographers have written books about the Crown, where you could they actually go through it. You know, this is what the Crown said. This is fact. So actually, if you really want to get into it, you can.
You can get into the nitty-gritty of it all. But you know, while Prince William has an off stance with Netflix, Prince Harry has a more closer relationship with Netflix because, as we know, his docu-series will be coming out in December, and also he's got a tell-all memoir. But in The Sun, I was reading quite an interesting piece where they're saying that Harry and Meghan had this year of reconciliation planned, where once the documentary was out, once the book was out, they were planning to build ties again with the royal family, but they were doing that hopefully thinking the Queen would still be alive. But now it's King and the Queen Consort, and I'm sure that documentary and the book's going to have some things which are going to be quite controversial. I don't know how well this plan of reconciliation is going to go.
It's rumoured, isn't it, very much so, particularly in all the newspapers and the royal correspondence, saying that, by the sound of it, Harry and Meghan have gone back to the States and they are trying to pull out the more contentious things they said in the book and the documentary. Whether they're succeeding in that, given that they've been given an huge amount of money for it, nobody seems to know whether or not, because the publishers want the book to come out on Thanksgiving.
But I think that book is going to sell like hotcakes because
it will.
People just really want to know what's in there. They've also cut ties with their PR firm, Sunshine Sachs, so I do think they are trying to rebrand themselves again and hopefully be in a more favour with the public over here.
But they can't have their say and say nasty things and then hope for a year of reconciliation. That's a bit...
Well, I think they've become an entity to themselves. Did you see the picture earlier on this week with Meghan and Harry?
The power pose.
Yeah, the power pose. I did like it, guys, I'm afraid.
Did you?
Yeah, I was all for it.
Well, look, they're a very stylish couple. I mean, she is a beautiful-looking woman. Yeah. And she absolutely knows how to pose, doesn't she? So you can't take that away from them. No. It's just whether or not... Well, it's just not very royal. Yeah. But they don't want to be, or do they?
There's just no reality with it all.
No.
This is the thing. I'd like to see them both first thing on a Sunday morning, see how rough they both look. And that's the real you.
That's the real Meghan.
That's the real you.
No power stance.
Unpolished and just human at the minute. There's nothing very human about it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just...
But, you know, sometimes you can say, like... I don't know, I feel like with the royals as well, they always do have this polishing. It's only with the Queen's funeral where we really saw a different side to them, but they have to be.
Yeah, of course they do.